Hey, what's going on, everyone? Sly here with D. And D, I didn't even want to make a video, man, today. I was just scrolling through YouTube and watching. I was trying to find some boxing stuff on Canelo and all that, who he's going to fight. And I come across this from your boy, Jesse, who I don't even follow, by the way. For some reason, he popped up. But pretty much, look at this right here. He's showing all these stats right here. Pretty much just saying that, I don't know, Brock Purdy's in clutch. He looked at this fourth quarter numbers, and pretty much they were just padded, just pretty much just cherry-picked stats, you know? And to me, I'm just like, oh my gosh, this was one of the dudes that was part of the whole, what's it called, Train On? Yeah, he was part of the Train On last year that was always ripping Brock Purdy, and it was insane. But I mean, these numbers are such baloney, what he's trying to do, trying to pretty much say, look at these other quarterbacks, CJ Stroud, all these other dudes. But before we're going to get into it right now, we're going to get into it. But my brother, he actually made a video earlier talking about the people that don't look at the real stats, what's up, and especially that offensive line. So he talks about this. He's a college professor, probably the best professor in the state of California. Let's check this out real quick, and then we'll talk about what this dude just said.
What's up, Sly? I know you want to look at some analytics. I know you love your boy Billy Bean and his statisticians and what it did for not only the A's, but once he took that system to Boston and what it did for their franchise. Check this out. I don't know why it's not done more in football. So you've seen this graphic by Ben Baldwin, and you hear people kind of talking about it a little bit. And this kind of just proves and shows how much people like Shannon Sharp and other people who they talk, but they're not very mathematically educated, right? In the math world, because they talk, all right? But what do these numbers even mean? So we look at efficiency among quarterbacks relative to their pass block, their offensive line, because that's huge. As you stated many times, and the statistics show our offensive line, I love our guys, but compared to the league average is bad, is horrible, right? Again, I teach math, so they're one of those students. I would go and try to help out, give extra support to throw everything I had. That's how bad they are, right? And so with this horrible line, look at where Brock Purdy is at. But what does it mean, right? Not only is he outperforming everyone, but he's doing it with no support here. As a result, look at the EPA per play here, and we'll talk about what does this even mean. So the better your pass protection is, right? It's evident. Statistics shows the better you're going to be. And so all these arguments, these analysts, they shouldn't call them analysts make, is, you take this quarterback and you put him in this system and all that. Statistically, that's full of, what? Because it's showing here in this awesome graph here, right? So correlation doesn't mean causation, but we do everything in life because of stats and numbers, right? All these amazing businesses, they're making their decisions because of stats. And it's so funny how football, a lot of some things, right, don't go that way. So let's dive in. So if we're looking at something above 0.3, let's just say that he was a little bit above Dak Prescott, let's say, which would still be a lot, actually, when we talk about these numbers. Let's say Brock Purdy was at a 0.3 here in the vertical axis, your y-axis here. All right. What that would mean is that right, look at this, per play, EPA per play. So he's giving us about 0.3 points, just him himself, his efficiency. So if you're going from 65, the Niners in 22 season, I don't know about this season, but they're averaging between 65 and 70 plays a game. You're looking at this guy alone, his greatness is contributing to about 19.5 to 21 points by himself because of his decision making, because of all of these things that you talk about in terms of how bright and fast he's able to process and dissect things. That's him alone because of that decision making with a garbage offensive line. So you imagine we throw him with these other folks. Well, look at the linear regression here, this model here. He's gonna, I wouldn't, I think he would move at a greater, so look at the slope here. I think his would be a little bit more. We'll talk about that later. We'll throw in other statistical ideas, but he would be even more off the charts. He's already a crazy outlier, but he would be off the charts in terms of what he would be able to do. You look at the Super Bowl, people just running free at him, and so he missed some plays, but that wasn't him missing. He couldn't see Jack because in 1 second, someone is in his face, and him basically he had to just get rid of it, which is a smart thing to do. But again, imagine if he didn't have someone in his face, all the open players he would be hitting and his accuracy. We're not even talking about accuracy and anything like that. So again, these charts like these they speak volumes when you understand what they're saying. So this guy alone is accounting for so much of the team's production. And imagine if we invested, right? What this statistics is saying here is you invest in that line, that O line, and my goodness, so much is going to take place. And that's why Vegas had them as the favorites, because you're looking at multiple different factors on your contingency table. So you control the ball more, and obviously it's in Mahomes' hands a lot less amount of time. So much more takes place when you have protection here. So I just thought you would find that interesting. We could talk more about it, but you'd actually have to look at some formulas so you could see behind the scenes how these calculations are made. But interesting stuff. But ultimate thing, what people want to know is you get them some protection, some real quality protection. Then, oh my God, this guy's already doing amazing things. Imagine what he could turn into. Anyways, I just thought I'd share that.
All right, man. So that's one thing that people don't look at, the crappy offensive line. However, Brock Purdy still finished 1 or 2 in almost every damn category out there. So what are your thoughts on this, man? It seems like it's going to keep happening over and over this offseason where guys, Niner content creators, just like last year, were ripping Brock Purdy, and they're going to have new, different narratives now that their boy, Trey Lance, isn't here.
For the record, he's not my boy. Like, look at the end results, but each of those quarterbacks, man, compared to Brock Purdy, like, it's not even, like, question, man. And even yesterday, he was saying that I'll even take it a step further, that I think he's, like, way better than Lamar Jackson. Even though he played better during that game, like, overall, like, I would choose Brock Purdy as my franchise quarterback over Lamar Jackson. And so these are definitely just like padded stat just for like get the viewing and, we were right the whole time that Trey was our boy, man. And, just to make Flo like feel a little bit better, because you know how Flo, he really wanted like Trey Lance, but we all saw it from the beginning, all of us Niners fans, like that was just like, a cheaper version of Kaepernick, man. I knew, from watching, and even, Shanahan came out at the end of the season. He was like, man, I was nervous telling John Lynch, man, because I was like, dude, our draft pick sucks and our third string quarterback is way better. And so this is just another opportunity just for those Trey Lance people to come out of the waterworks after, we failed in the Super Bowl. So they're going to be like, oh, see, we should have kept Trey Lance. But man, that guy's a third string quarterback. He won't even start for like another couple of years, man, because he sucks. I'm pretty sure, Cooper Rush is always going to be a step ahead of him unless something happens. And so it's just ridiculous, man, to see these all like, supposedly Niner fans that are just like, oh, like Trey Lance not even with us.
Yeah. To me, I mean, I don't know. That was just so like, dude, what the hell? Like, I thought we were over that, but obviously we're not over it. I don't get like these people that think that all of a sudden Trey Lance Brock Purdy's not better than these guys. These guys that he's talking about, CJ Stroud, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen,
Justin Herbert.
All those guys, guess what? They have better. They have a better offensive line. Mm-hmm. I get it that Brock Purdy probably does have better weapons, but to me, it's always give me the damn offensive line. If you have time to protect your damn quarterback, you're going to put up big ass numbers, because these cornerbacks can't cover for that long, like 3-4 seconds. Like, no, there's no Deion Sanders out there. There's no more Revis out there. So, I mean, give me an offensive line. And Brock Purdy doesn't have the offensive line. That's what people don't understand. And regardless, he still put up big-ass numbers. He was one game away from being the MVP of the league. I get it. If you want to talk trash about players that aren't performing, I get it. But why are you going to go after and try to make an agenda over one of the best quarterback statistically in the league? He's not freaking Rex Grossman. We're acting like it's Rex Grossman out there. And I don't know how that Jesse guy, he seems like a young dude. So I don't know if he remembers guys we had like Cody Pickett, Ken Dorsey, Tim Rattay, Who knows? Even
Sean
Nick
Hill,
even,
like all those
I don't even
guys.
know how long he's been watching. Like we had guys like Nick
Trent
Mullins
Dilfer,
out there. So I
Nick
mean, it's bad. So I mean, I don't know how long he's been. So I'm like, to me, I see Brock Purdy. I'm like, dude, I'm so grateful he's our quarterback.
Yeah.
Like I seen what we had in the past. You know, I've seen that the down years with the Mike Nolans, Mike Singletary, Dennis Erickson, all those coaches that were horrible. And then you have someone like Brock Purdy that pretty much kind of saved Kyle Shanahan's job, because if we had a crappy quarterback, who were we going to turn to? Like, exactly. I guess we'll bring back Jimmy G. So I see these things. I'm like, all right, you're trying to get a narrative like last year. Last year I had to turn off YouTube because all these guys were just coming after Brock Purdy, and Trayanon was just out there just trying to destroy them. And even had to get off Twitter too, because all their followers believe that, and they were just bashing Brock Purdy for no reason. Like, why are they bashing this guy? Like, what did he do wrong last year? What did Brock Purdy do wrong last year that makes you just want to rip him? As a Niner fan, I'm like, okay, I get it, man. There's quarterbacks out there that I always wanted to rip. Nick Mullins, if you want to rip him, go for it. I don't care. But Brock Purdy did everything right last year. And for people still to put all these baloney stats out there, we could do stats about anything. We could do stats about Patrick Mahomes if we wanted to, and find out different things about him. Be like, oh, well, looking in the third quarter right here, look at his numbers. They're really horrible. Oh, wow. You know, he didn't put up big numbers this year. It's baloney, man. At the end of the day, Brock Purdy did his thing, and he actually two times took our team, and we had the lead after that happened, and then our defense obviously gave up the touchdown or whatever, a field goal and then the touchdown. But Brock Purdy brought our team back for the lead in that fourth quarter, in the biggest game out there. So these late time stats, man, I'm done with that, man. It's just absolutely ridiculous. You want to do all this baloney.
And it's like, how long are we going to keep doing this, man? We're just going in full circles. You could like say like, oh, like maybe like, we'll see how he does. Like when we may need some pieces like to at least like help Brock Purdy. But it's like, man, like what else do you want as a franchise quarterback? Is because like the whole Trey Lance saga, like that's over with. Like that shouldn't even be a discussion. So for like these like guys to like keep bringing up the past, and it's like, bro, like that's already done with. He's on another team. I get it. That was your boy. Like you really had high expectations from him. But it just didn't work out, man. That the coaches saw, the players saw, that you saw it with Jimmy G, man. They were just like, when Trey Lance got hurt, I was at that football game, dude. They were pumped when Jimmy G was stepping on the football field. I was like, oh shit, dude. Like, damn, like these players are actually getting like pumped at their boys back on the field. And I'm not really like a Jimmy G guy as far as like, oh, I knew we were gonna win it with him, but our team was that good that it could carry him. And so the ship is like over as far as like, we got to talk about the past. Brock Purdy's our guy. And Shanahan already like established like that's our guy, man. The only person, he even said, the only person he will bench over him was if he brought back Tom Brady, because they didn't know, because usually with that injury, they're usually out for about a year or two. Yeah. And so with that being said, like Brock is our guy, man. And he like, so we're just going to full circle. So just like for to keep bringing that up, it's just like, it's stupid at this point. And like all these padded stats, and like, it's like, you know what I mean? Like just, man, it's just ridiculous.
And to me, it doesn't make sense. Like you're a fan of the team, and I get that. But why are you a fanboy of players? Like to me, it's the best players, and that's it. No matter what. If you're the best player, let's root for the best player, you know? I don't care about like, oh, Jimmy G, he's my boy. No matter what, I'm going to follow him. Like, dude, screw that, man. I want the best players to be. If that would have been Trey Lance, I would have been on board 100%. When we drafted him, I was glad we drafted him instead of Mac Jones. So I was like, let's go. And then when I saw he wasn't playing good in those training camps we were at, we were like, oh shit, now what? Now what do we do? Like, if there's someone else better, let's get him. But like, cause we saw that right away. Like the first few practices, like, dude, this guy's overthrowing guys. Like, what's up with that? And so with the last year, Trey Lance was there, and everyone's like, this is a conspiracy. Everyone's out to get Trey Lance. This is not right. And you were just hearing guy after guy saying that. And I felt like I was living in that bizarro world. You know that comic book where everything's upside down, where everything good is bad and bad is good? Yeah. That's what I was thinking. Like, what are these guys talking about? Like, am I missing something? Yeah. Like, what the hell's going on? So that's kind of, when I see stuff like that, I feel like I'm still living in a bizarre world. Like, dude, these guys are.
The only thing I'll agree about that little weasel is that we should also run the ball more. The thing I don't like about Shanahan is that we run the ball and then we go away from the ball. And so, and you saw that in the Super Bowl, man. Like Elijah Mitchell has some great runs. McCaffrey like has some great runs. So I don't think that we need to have like similar to like a hardball, where we need to have more clock management as far as like running the ball, not always throwing it on every down, especially when we had that pick in the Super Bowl and we went 3 and out. Like, that's unacceptable. We got a turnover like that, especially on Patrick Mahomes. Like, we need to come out with points on that, whether it's a field goal. So that's where, for me, like, I do agree with them on that we need to run the ball. But other than that, as far as like Brock Purdy, man, like, that's our guy, man. And you saw, like, he got everybody involved. He got Ayuk, when it mattered. He got, Jennings when it mattered. Debo, Kittle all season long, McCaffrey. Like, this guy was just dumping it to everybody, where Jimmy G, man, that guy will struggle, and him and Trey, they will struggle during the pressure, and they were just looking for somebody like McCaffrey or Debo to bail them out. And there's a reason why they're not on our team. So moving forward, man, like, this is our guy. And like, unfortunately, like, you guys may not like it, but moving forward, like, this is our guy, and you guys gotta support him, man.
Yeah, I know, exactly, man. And even, like I said, when that 3-game losing streak happened, oh my gosh, we heard it. We heard all the boo birds come out. Get rid of this guy. We told you about Trey Lance. And I was just like, oh my God. And I'm so happy that Brock Purdy just took off to Iowa during that time.
Yeah.
And he was like, I'm done. I'm not going to deal with this. He took out farming, and he came out better than ever. So, I mean, it's going to happen where he has a bad game or so, and then people again are going to come out with the pitchforks. And to me, it like doesn't make sense at all, because he's proven like he is the guy.
Yeah.
And no matter what, there's always going to be haters out there. And I just don't get that, how people are fanboys of other guys, so they're going to push another guy down. Like, that to me, that doesn't make sense. Like, dude, we want the best
especially
players
on that
out there.
List, because CJ, we'll see how CJ does next season, but you know, you are very cautious about all like the side off-season incidents. Yeah, so we'll see how he is moving forward. But besides Josh Allen, I'll give him, he's probably the best quarterback as far as like the stats go, because he's been, as far as like, he's played really good against Mahomes, even though they always came up short. He always makes big plays. But you even said it when we were making that Super Bowl prediction, and I said that the Chiefs were going to make it. You were like talking about like these guys like Lamar, Tua, man, when it comes to it, these guys always choke. And so that's why I was like, when I look at their stats, and it's like, dude, like, come on. Like, I look at the end results. I look at the people who are going to give us the best chance to get to the Super Bowl. And right now, it's been Mahomes, and to me, Brock Purdy have been the best 2 quarterbacks the last 2 years, and with Josh Allen right behind them. And so moving forward, like, I don't even really count Lamar and the rest of the guys yet, because like, they haven't really proven anything as far as like having winning season and getting to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, so I mean, it is what it is, man. You're gonna have the minions out there saying their stuff, but we gotta move forward with Brock, man. He's the guy. At the end of the day, everyone needs another year and stuff. They said to see if he's really the guy. I mean, he's done it for 2 years already, with the crappy ass offensive line. So I think we're gonna address that this offseason, and I think he's gonna get even better. So I mean, people could still be doubting him, but like I said, we've had these damn quarterbacks for so long that have been so horrible. Like, I mean, what else there is to prove? Like, especially as a Niner fan, with all these damn quarterbacks that have been crappy throughout the years, and we have someone like this, and you're still gonna go out there and rip them. It's like, I don't get it, man. It doesn't make sense to me. So yeah, that's what we got, man. Let us know what you think about this whole situation. Is Brock Purdy pretty much a front runner? Those stats pretty much show he's good 1 through 3 of the 4th quarter. Somehow he chokes. I don't get that, but let us know what you think about this whole situation. Like, comment, subscribe. Talk to you next time. Peace.